Prime Minister Xuân Phúc attends ASEAN-India Summit. And prospects for e-logistic development in 2018. Hello there and welcome to another edition of BizLine. I'm Hoàng Hằng, and now let's take a look at some economic news making headlines over the past week. Prime Minister Xuân Phúc and a high-ranking delegation arrived at New Delhi on Wednesday to attend the ASEAN-India Summit. Titled Shared Values, Common Destiny, the ASEAN-India Summit was expected to boost the already flourishing ties between India and Vietnam. The event aimed to also highlight Vietnam's role in the growing relationship between ASEAN and India. Prime Minister Phúc held talks with his Indian counterpart Narendra Modi, attended a special retreat between ASEAN leaders and the Indian Prime Minister, and participated in an ASEAN-India commemorative summit and related events. He also had a series of bilateral meetings with the heads of the ASEAN countries and representatives of major Asian and global groups. Deputy Prime Minister Vương Đình Huệ attended the 48th annual meeting of the World Economic Forum on January the 23rd in Davos, Switzerland. At the event, the Deputy Prime Minister urged the forum to work with ASEAN countries to promote regional prosperity as challenges and changes face the region and the world. The Deputy Prime Minister also delivered a speech at a meeting of the ASEAN Regional Strategic Group on Wednesday and noted the group should focus on strategic issues to promote development of the ASEAN community. On the sidelines of the WEF 2018, the Deputy Prime Minister also met with Swiss Federal Council member Johan Amann, had bilateral meetings with Peruvian Prime Minister, Dutch Minister for Foreign Trade and Development Cooperation, and the Executive Chairman of the WEF. He also attended the informal gathering of the World Economic Leaders and met with leaders of international organizations and large corporations. Japanese Minister for Economy, Trade and Industry Toshimitsu Motegi announced on Tuesday that the 11 countries participating in the Comprehensive and Progressive Agreement for Trans-Pacific Partnership, also known as CPTPP, will hold a signing ceremony in Chile in March. The agreement was reached after a two-day meeting in Tokyo, Japan, where chief negotiators of the 11 member nations addressed disagreements, including Canada's restricting foreign films to protect its cultural industry. The new agreement will leave a door open for potential U.S. participation. According to Minister Motegi, the CPTPP will be a driving force to address rising protectionism in many countries. Once effective, the CPTPP will create an open market accounting for 14% of global GDP and about 1/6 of the world trade. European businesses highly appreciated the new draft amendment to Decree 38 on food hygiene at a dialogue with Minister Chairman of the Office of Government Mai Tiến-Dũng on Monday. According to the draft amendment, import and export goods specialized inspection procedures will be changed, such as eliminating overlapping inspections between different agencies, enhancing risk management based on business compliance, tightening post-inspection work and accepting the inspection results of other countries. Those changes can help reduce 90% of the current procedures. Prime Minister Xuân Phúc has approved the National Action Plan to prevent, reduce and eliminate illegal, undeclared and unregulated fisheries, or IUU, by 2025. The objectives of the plan are to prevent, reduce and eliminate IUU fishing activities of Vietnamese and foreign organizations and individuals in Vietnam seas in order to promote sustainable and responsible fisheries development, contributing to national security, regional and international integration. It's also to terminate the situation of fishing ships and Vietnamese fishermen illegally exploiting marine products in foreign waters. 3 tasks are set to be implemented: establishing the IUU working group, building 3 major fishery centers, and severely fining any ships involved in illegal fishing. The Ho Chi Minh City Stock Exchange, or HOSE, experienced a technical crash on Monday afternoon, bringing to a halt of all trading activities during the next 2 days. According to a representative, while the technical issue had been solved on Wednesday, it needed to run tests with security firms to ensure the safety and accuracy of the trading system. Trần Văn Dũng, chairman of the State Securities Commission, said in the event of these kinds of incidents in the market, investors' confidence and market sentiment are the first ones to suffer. He also said that investors should note that the last matching order prices on Monday would be the reference prices for the southern market when it resumes operations, and that investors should not worry about the latest crash as the Vietnamese market is in its development stage, supported by good macroeconomic conditions and a stable and strong foreign capital inflow. This is the second system crash at HOSE since the first one in May 2008. The 47th meeting of ASEAN National Tourism Organization kicked off on Monday in the northern Thai province of Chiang Mai as part of the ASEAN Tourism Forum. At the event, representatives of the ASEAN Tourism Association suggested boosting heritage and conference tourism, connecting destinations within ASEAN, as well as issuing occupational and destination standards towards sustainable development of the sector. In addition, multilateral cooperation within ASEAN is expected to help expand the market and improve the position of Vietnam as well as the region in the world tourism map. Vietnam announced that the country was preparing for the forum next year in Ha Long Bay. Many Vietnamese agro products such as chili, coriander and tapioca powder are sold on Amazon at the prices of 10 or 100 times higher than domestic prices. For example, cassava flour in Vietnam is only $4.4 per kilo. However, on Amazon, this item was sold for nearly $44 a kilo. Vietnamese pepper is offered for sale at Amazon for more than $29 per kilo. Notably, on the Amazon online store, lucuma powder is sold at about $66, described as a food that contains lots of antioxidants, fiber, vitamins, trace elements, and even capable of helping to reduce fat. This fruit is abundant and sold at a low price in domestic market. Those are some news making headlines in the economic scene. Up next, we will look into the prospects for e-logistics development in Vietnam in 2018. According to representative of Vietnam Trade Promotion Agency, Vietnam is considered one of the countries in the world with the fastest growth of e-commerce at 35% each year, 2.5 times higher than that in Japan. However, e-commerce is not limited to product quality. The quality of delivery service has also proved its increasing importance for both consumers and sellers. This gave the reason for experts to believe that the value of e-logistic market in Vietnam might reach $200 million by 2020. In this episode of BizLine, we will discuss how e-logistic will prosper in 2018. But first, let's see how e-logistic boomed in the past year in the following clip.
According to a report from Cantor World Panel, Vietnam was listed in the top 10 countries with the most e-commerce percentage of FMCG or fast-moving consumer goods in terms of online value share from March 2016 to March 2017. E-commerce in Vietnam has evolved thanks to booming internet usage and smartphone ownership, together with massive investment from key retail players. The percentage of e-commerce shoppers grew from 5.4% to 8.8% in Ho Chi Minh City, Hanoi, Da Nang, and Cần Thơ in 2016. The large and increasing scale of e-commerce comes with the growth of logistics for the sector, or e-logistics. Last-mile delivery services are believed to be the defining factor in the success of e-commerce firms.
Logistics department are the backbone of a company such as Lazada.
The potential of e-logistics can be seen in the presence of over 50 e-logistics firms. In 2017, traditional delivery and transport firms have also stepped into this volatile market.
Trong năm 2017 thì logistics cho thương mại điện tử phát triển rất là mạnh. Tốc độ tăng trưởng so với lại năm 2016 thì tăng khoảng hơn gấp 2 lần so với lại năm 2016. Các cái doanh nghiệp ở trong nước như bưu điện, như Viettel, ngay cả như giao hàng nhanh thì cũng đầu tư rất là mạnh để mà có nhiều cái dịch vụ mới và nâng cấp cả hệ thống hạ tầng để đáp ứng cái nhu cầu ngày càng phát triển của khách hàng, người mua hàng của thương mại điện tử.
Rất nhiều công ty nước ngoài chuyên về hậu cần được thành lập tại Việt Nam, cũng như rất nhiều các công ty tại Việt Nam chuyển đổi mô hình từ B2B trước đây sang B2C hoặc là C2C và đang bắt đầu lấn sân qua lĩnh vực thương mại điện tử.
According to experts, Vietnam's e-logistics will continue to grow by 2 to 3 times a year from 2018 onward. Players in the market will improve their service and technology to strengthen their competitiveness in the coming time.
We have invited to our studio today Mr. Thomas Harris, Managing Director of DHL E-commerce Vietnam, to get a deeper understanding about e-logistics sector. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
First of all, according to some experts, 2017 was a turning point for Vietnam's e-logistics in terms of both the presence and robust development of many local and foreign players. So, in your opinion, why has it become such an attractive business in Vietnam?
And when you see the growth of e-commerce currently, it's a huge potential market for everyone, especially foreign investors. The market in 2016 was around $1 billion, and that seems to be going to be doubled by the 2020 to over $2.3 billion. So I think for any 3PL or e-logistics firm, it's a very attractive market in Vietnam right now.
There are about 50 different logistic companies and startups currently operating in Vietnam, and more are expected to come. So are they enough to meet the rising demand in the market?
With the many players that are entering the market and are already here, it shows that there is a great demand for a logistics player. That's why DHL believed that there was a gap for a global company to come in with the global solutions and quality, such as API integration, quality service, also other services and value added, such as open box, COD, secure COD as well. And we believe that with us entering the market and other players, this is only a benefit for the consumer, because then it improves service and also improves competition within the market, which is only a good thing for all. I think at the moment, I think the market isn't saturated. I think there's room for all the players. I think we have a very good relationship between all 3PLs at the moment. The market is growing, so there is a demand there, and I believe that more competition will come in. And as stated, competition is a good thing for the consumer. It drives a competitive price, but it also improves service.
Technology is a crucial factor for e-commerce. So does this apply to e-logistics as well?
Technology is important within any industry, but especially within e-logistics. When we look at our merchants and the consumers, they are ordering online, so they want to also be able to track their shipments and also be able to use technology seamlessly from end to end. So for example, with our merchants, they want to be able to ensure that order to delivery is tracked through mobile devices to ensure that they get a quality service to their consumers. Everything throughout the whole ordering process from beginning to end, it's important to ensure that the technology is there to assist not only the consumer but the merchant. Therefore, any e-logistics player as well as DHL need to offer them a seamless end-to-end transaction which they can track not only using online but via mobile devices. So things like that and technology are very important throughout the whole e-logistics business.
The software used by this delivery firm allows its staff to sort orders based on the location of customers, making it more convenient to deliver packages. This year, the firm expects to receive triple the amount of orders of 2017. It also plans to spend 2% of revenue on upgrading technology.
Làm sao để mà trong các đơn hàng ở trong nội thành, ở các thành phố lớn như Hồ Chí Minh, Hà Nội, Đà Nẵng đã được giao hàng ở trong vòng 2 tiếng. Và tất cả người mua hàng ở trên toàn quốc có thể nhận hàng được trong vòng 24 tiếng.
For this company, the logistic model to put Vietnamese goods on international e-commerce platforms used to be B2B or business to business. However, in the past few years, with the robust development of e-commerce, the logistics model was changed to B2B2C or business to customer. Technology is the crucial factor for this model to work well.
Chúng tôi coi công nghệ là một khoản đầu tư, là một trong những cái công cụ để mình nâng cao cái chất lượng dịch vụ của mình. Bạn gọi là chi phí phần mềm, nhưng tôi gọi đấy là những cái đầu tư vào cái phần công nghệ.
International e-commerce platforms also select which local logistics firms to work with based on the technology they use. Only good technology can help local logistics firms to connect with foreign partners.
Vietnamese partners have the knowledge. They know the market, they know the country, they know the regulations. International partners come with expertise in terms of technologies and best practices from overseas. So having the right combination about international partners and Vietnamese partners and merging them together creates a unique logistics solution which is required on the Vietnamese market.
According to a representative of the Vietnam Logistics Business Association, the growth of Vietnam's e-commerce market is over 30%. Its potential has encouraged many companies to invest in e-logistics.
Hiện đã có cái nền tảng công nghệ và có cái phát triển nhất định. Cái nền tảng công nghệ chúng ta còn thấp quá. Thì cái này buộc chúng ta phải cập nhật những cái công nghệ tiên tiến trong cái phát triển logistics trong thương mại điện tử.
Vietnam's e-commerce market is currently valued at about $400 million. This number is expected to reach $8 billion by 2025. Due to this, logistics firms need to speed up their investment in infrastructure and technology to grasp the opportunities of this thriving market.
There are e-commerce firms that partner with logistic companies, and there are also ones with their own logistic firm. So what model is more popular in Vietnam?
I think what you find with a lot of the larger merchants is that they have their own in-house logistics provider. Normally the cost of logistics for a merchant is around 10% of their total cost. So as you can see, as a percentage of their total base cost, that's quite large. And obviously with a fluctuation within volumes, it's very hard for merchants to manage their volumes and their packages, especially during peak seasons like 11/11, 12/12, for example. So that means that there's definitely a market there for other 3PLs that don't have their own merchants to back them. We can offer dedicated service, superior service, a network and coverage, and also deal with the volumes, and also give them value-added service that potentially they cannot do in-house. So there's always a market available to us, and I believe that there's definitely potential for for 3PLs like DHL to assist those merchants with their delivery service.
Some e-logistic company plan to launch customer collection points or service points that allow customers to pick up their orders at any time and don't have to wait for delivery at home. So will this be a new trend for delivery in 2018?
Within the e-commerce market, consumers are looking for varied and diverse ways of collecting their packages, and merchants are looking for a diverse and varied way of drop-off as well. So therefore, DHL and other players have invested within service points, service lockers, and other ways of delivering their packages.
The development of e-commerce companies has encouraged a number of them to establish their own logistics service. Lazada was one of the first e-commerce platforms in Vietnam to apply this model. The combination of e-commerce and e-logistics has proven effective for a number of enterprises.
Cái điểm tốt của cái công ty dịch vụ riêng về hậu cần là anh chủ động được cái nguồn lực và chủ động được về dịch vụ của anh, đảm bảo cái dịch vụ cung cấp cho khách hàng luôn luôn được tốt nhất. Tuy nhiên, nó cũng có những cái hạn chế nhất định. Ví dụ như nếu như sản lượng không đủ lớn thì cái chi phí vận hành nó sẽ rất cao và nó sẽ làm ảnh hưởng đến cái năng lực cạnh tranh của chính công ty thương mại điện tử đó.
Also, according to Thịnh, the future trend for e-commerce companies would be having both one's own logistics service and partnership with professional logistics to make sure the service is always ready, even during holiday sales. Apart from ordinary last-mile delivery, some e-logistics businesses have come up with collection points, which allow customers to collect the packages themselves at any time near their home without having to wait.
Mạng lưới các cái điểm gửi hàng của giao hàng nhanh sẽ giúp cho người bán có thể chủ động hơn trong việc bán hàng. Trong năm 2017, 2018 này, Giao Nhanh sẽ đẩy mạnh cái mạng lưới này phủ khắp ở tất cả các tỉnh thành, tăng cái số lượng lên khoảng hơn 1.500 điểm, để tất cả khách hàng khi mà mua hàng chỉ cần trong bán kính 500m là họ sẽ có thể có một cái điểm để họ nhận hàng được.
Vietnamese people have been purchasing more products online, not just from e-commerce platforms in Vietnam, but also from foreign countries. According to experts, the average growth of cross-border e-commerce in the world will remain at around 25% for the next 3 years, which is twice as much as the prediction for local e-commerce.
Công ty tôi thì thường mua nguyên vật liệu sản xuất và một số phụ tùng thay thế máy móc trên một số trang thương mại điện tử như là mấy trang Amazon này, Alibaba này. Để mà đưa được hàng về công ty thì bên mình có sử dụng một số dịch vụ logistics qua một số công ty forwarder.
Logistics cho thương mại điện tử xuyên biên giới, đối tượng chủ yếu cung cấp các công ty chuyển phát nhanh quốc tế như UPS, DSL, FedEx, TNT. Gần đây các công ty forwarder cũng bắt đầu tham gia vào lĩnh vực thương mại điện tử xuyên biên giới, thực hiện các dịch vụ giao hàng FBA.
Experts have also predicted that the total value of cross-border e-commerce trade will increase from $300 billion in 2015 to $900 billion by 2020, accounting for 22% of global e-commerce value, which will create great demand to be served by cross-border e-logistics.
Are there any logistic models in foreign countries that could be replicated and applied in Vietnam?
I think Vietnam is doing many great things to ensure that the future infrastructure from a transport network is there, and they can take lessons and learnings from any country. Well, obviously you can look at the learnings from countries within Europe, but they have hundreds of years of infrastructure investment and building. However, you can obviously learn in Southeast Asia from countries like Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand, and also working together with other countries such as Japan to improve networks and improve transport infrastructure is something that they can do going forward. But at the end of the day, it comes from learning and ensuring that the investment is done correctly and in the right way.
Now, what are your proposals for the government to facilitate the development of e-logistics in the country?
The following things which are obviously essential for any logistics business is a good infrastructure when it comes to transport, a dialogue between the leaders of industry within logistics and also with the government to improve not only the services that the people can have within Vietnam, but to work together to improve the infrastructure and also logistics as a whole within the industry. I think with any country, I think it's important to invest within the transport networks that you see throughout the country, not only in the metros, so you see innovation and investment in MRT in Ho Chi Minh and Hanoi, but other transport networks, roads, railway, etc. You see the investment in airports as well, with the expected development of airports. So these things are all contributing to the future benefit of the people of Vietnam and the country as a whole. So it comes throughout investment throughout the whole country into every type of infrastructure.
In order to facilitate the development of e-logistics, the government has issued Decree 163 on logistics services, which will come into force on February the 20th this year. Accordingly, foreign investors from WTO members are allowed to establish logistics firms in Vietnam and contribute or buy shares at the maximum of 51% in Vietnamese enterprises in the sector. Those active in road cargo transport must have 100% of their drivers as Vietnamese citizens.
Cái đó là cái điểm rất mới, không những cho thương mại điện tử mà cho tất cả các cái ngành dịch vụ logistics. Nó sẽ tạo điều kiện thuận lợi cho các doanh nghiệp nước ngoài đầu tư về Việt Nam và tạo điều kiện cho các doanh nghiệp Việt Nam hợp tác với các doanh nghiệp nước ngoài để mở rộng sản xuất, quy mô sản xuất.
Cái nghị định này không đề cập đến một cái cụm từ là tùy theo nhu cầu thị trường theo cái nội dung trước đây, và điều này nó sẽ giúp hiểu cái quy định một cách minh bạch hơn và rõ ràng hơn, và qua đó thì nó sẽ tạo ra những cái tín hiệu tích cực và nó thu hút được nhiều cái đầu tư của các thành viên WTO hơn.
Logistics companies themselves have also made proposals to improve the law in favor of the development of e-logistics.
Về phía nhà nước thì cần phải có những quy định cụ thể nâng mức trần cho hàng hóa phải nộp thuế. Hiện tại bây giờ đang là 1 triệu đồng nên mức 2 triệu hoặc 3 triệu đồng cho đồng nhất với cái hàng quà biếu quà tặng.
In April, the Vietnam Logistics Business Association, together with the People's Committee of Da Nang City, will organize a conference on cross-border transport via road to tackle issues and discuss ways to further develop cross-border e-logistics.
What do you think if foreign logistics firms are required to have 100% of their drivers as Vietnamese?
The decision to have 100% Vietnamese drivers, I fully support. And at the moment and going forward, obviously, DHL will also have 100% Vietnamese drivers.
According to a decision issued by the Prime Minister in 2018, the logistics sector is tasked to contribute from 8 to 10% of GDP in 2018. So what do you think about this target? Is this a feasible target?
When you look at the investment in past years and you see the growth now of especially within e-commerce, and you see the investment of foreign players like DHL and the future investment that we will do within the country, I think it's definitely feasible. In fact, I believe that the growth targets are probably a bit conservative, and when we see the investments of all these companies coming into Vietnam, I believe that that's actually more than attainable, and that you'll see a huge spike within logistics within Vietnam.
Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. It's been great.
Now, according to a report by Nielsen, about 50% of Vietnamese people use the internet and 28% of which buy goods online, spending $160 per person per month. However, their purchases currently only account for 2.8% of total retail sales in Vietnam. This means there is still much room for e-commerce to grow in the future, and it can only happen with equal development of e-logistics. 2017 witnessed promising signs of the sector in Vietnam. However, e-logistic firms need to constantly improve their technology and services, and there needs to be more favorable policies for the sector to rise to be a new prominent contributor to the country's growth. And that's it for this edition of BizLine. Feel free to log on to vtv4.vn or our YouTube channel at VTV4Go for more about news and updates. Thanks for tuning in and goodbye for now.